Happy Tuesday morning. Look at this fog outside. Welcome to Central Florida in the spring, even though it's still the winter. Look at it. Crazy. Hey everybody, we're going to do a bit of a different video today. No vlog, because nothing really exciting is happening, and it's already like 8:30 at night and after work. So what I thought I would do is, we put something up on the website yesterday which was kind of like a reminder about Star Wars Celebration coming up, and just, you know, a couple of updates of what's happening. And you know, we've got a couple of major things that are happening and that we're tracking to throughout the year. So I thought we'd talk about countdowns, because, you know, the countdown is on to a lot of different things, and probably different things that folks that watch this channel are interested in. Not theme park related, at least all of them. So the first one I want to talk about is Megacon. So Megacon is coming up. And when you see me, I'm cheating, so I'm looking down. So just being completely honest. But Megacon is 37 days away. It starts April 10th, and it's located at the convention center. So it's the Orange County Convention Center. And what you should know is that tickets are probably going to sell out this time, well in advance of Megacon actually happening. So even though it's a 3-day event and we're 37 days out, I'd say start looking at getting tickets soon if you haven't picked them up already. Megacon is a really big event that's grown much bigger than what it was when we first started going there over 10 years ago. And it's really kind of like the game in town. But what happened last year is that they had way too many people in a small packed place, and it became not only an annoyance, but it became a fire hazard and uncomfortable. So now that they're limiting the amount of tickets that they're selling this time around. So if you're interested in attending, like I said, buy tickets soon, especially if you're looking to go to Saturday. Saturday is always the worst as far as crowd size goes. Fridays, they typically run like a half day of a show, and then Sunday, you know, you could probably find bargains too, if there's things that you're looking at that are still left. But they have a really great guest lineup this year, including a lot of folks from The Walking Dead. So you know, both Daryl Dixon and Merle. So you know, we're talking about Norman Reedus is in the house, as well as Michael Rooker. John Bernthal, who you know, everybody knows as Shane, is going to be there as well, and Lori is going to be there. Some of the autographs tend to be a bit pricey, so that's one thing you want to look at first. If you're planning on heading out to Megacon, check out their website. We'll put a link below. It's you know, to me, Megacon is always kind of a pricey ticket to get into, but autograph prices have certainly shot through the roof as well. And you've got mail. That's my little mail tone from my phone. But just for an example, I know Norman Reedus is charging $80 for an autograph, which is a lot of money in my book. But Norman Reedus is hot right now. And if you're looking to take pictures with folks, there's a separate charge for taking pictures, because they have pro photographers on site. And generally, they don't let folks take pictures at the table with them, because they've set up a deal with the convention center or the convention folks to take pictures with their folks. Michael Rooker is also charging like $50 an autograph. So if you want the Dixon brothers, it's going to cost you $130 together. And, you know, maybe they'll run a package deal while they're there. I don't know, but I would highly doubt it. Ron Perlman's at Megacon also, as well as a lot of the cast from Serenity and Firefly. You know, Firefly and Serenity. You know, let's get them backwards, but they're there. And, you know, for me, I'd really look. You know, we've got a Walking Dead poster that we started last year that we had. You know, kind of the governor and Michonne and Glenn sign, and you know, a bunch of other folks. So we want to continue that poster and get these other guys to sign it. So I think if we bang all of these guys out and we can track down a couple others, then I can say maybe it's complete. But we're gonna have to see what we got saved up. It's funny because I know you guys can't see it out of picture here, but we have a stormtrooper helmet that is a bank and consistently saving all of our change. And once a year at Megacon, we cash that change in and we put it towards goodies. So just so you should not know that we just have an endless supply of money to go to conventions and stuff. We save up for it. So next on the list, I think this is something that I'm looking forward to more than anything else this year at least. And this is the return of Star Wars Celebration. And we're making the trek out to Anaheim, California to go to the convention. So I know we've mentioned we're going out to the LA area, California area, and folks are saying, hey, go to Disney and go to Universal. Our first priority is going to Star Wars Celebration, and whatever time we have left over after the event, on the nights that we're there, we're going to try to get out to Disneyland and possibly Universal Studios out that way too. But Star Wars Celebration, anyway, 43 days away. So it's April 16th that it starts, and it's a 4-day event. They have announced a litany of guest stars to appear. Autograph pricing is not set at this point, but to start the event off, they always have a kickoff of Celebration every time. And J.J. Abrams is going to be doing the kickoff along with Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy is kind of the person, for those that aren't in the know, kind of assumed the mantle of, owner of Lucasfilm. Besides, obviously everybody knows the mouse owns them through Disney, but Kathleen Kennedy is helming the ship after George Lucas parted ways with Lucasfilm. So J.J. Abrams, for me, couldn't get a bigger person to kick off the event. Hopefully he's accessible at least a little bit. I don't anticipate JJ signing autographs for folks and doing meet and greets, but hopefully, usually folks are out mingling around and walking the floor. That's where we've run into Dave Filoni before. And, Dave Filoni is actually a guest here again this time. But just to let you know, guest-wise, they announced Ian McDermott today, and Ian McDermott is the Emperor. So it's a huge guest. They made a very big deal about him attending the last Star Wars Celebration that was in Orlando. He's back this time around, as well as Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Anthony Daniels, for folks that don't know, is C-3PO, Kenny Baker, who's R2-D2. Kenny Baker hasn't made the rounds very often in the States lately because of health issues, so he's there. Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. The cast of the Rebels TV show will be there as well. And a lot of the folks that were in the prequel trilogies will be there. So Matthew Wood, who did the voice of General Grievous and also does a lot of the sound effects work for Lucasfilm, is there. Amy Allen, who played Aayla Secura, will be there as well. All kinds of cool people. A lot of folks that are within the kind of the Star Wars world will be there. For lack of a better term, Kyle Newman, who wrote and directed Fanboys, will be there. Kyle Newman was at the last celebration as well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him this time around. They did this wonderful radio drama kind of take at the last celebration. They're going to do a part 2 this time around. So what it was is they got a bunch of voice actors or actors up on stage in front of everybody and basically just read lines, so that it was kind of like listening to the radio dramas when the original trilogy was released, or Star Wars at least was released. They had cassettes that I listened to when I was a kid, and it was based off of I believe the BBC radio drama. So I could get that wrong, so if you're fanboying me out and slam me down below, that's fine, but feel free to correct me where I'm wrong. Steve Sansweet will be there. Steve Sansweet owns Rancho Obi-Wan, so you probably, if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't seen Rancho Obi-Wan before, and you want to try to see what Steve has, he has the world's largest Star Wars collection. He's a super great guy, and the stuff that he brings to the site is just a very small sampling of what he has at his actual museum. But even the stuff that he brings to the site is just mind-blowing. He has a really wonderful collection. I believe that he's pre-selling a book this time around as well, of some specific items, just pictures and text and stuff like that. So he'll be there as well. And Dave Collins is going to be one of the hosts again for the digital stage. Dave Collins was a host the last time, and he is also the owner of a fairly new YouTube channel that we want to put the link down below. Dave Collins' YouTube channel is called The Comlink, and the link will be below. He is, you want to talk about super fanboy, super awesome Star Wars geek. He's got some wonderful stuff happening on his YouTube channel already, including interviews with folks involved with the TV show Rebels and the movies and all kinds of good stuff and all kinds of good Star Wars news. If you guys are fans of Star Wars, check out his channel, go subscribe, leave him a comment below, because this is what's funny to me, is that his channel is still kind of new. He started in December. He's at 1,700 subscribers, at least while we're recording this, and which is mind-blowing because we have more subscribers than him at the moment. So leave him a message down below and say, Kyle from the View from the Cheap Seats, sent you over there to subscribe and say hello. And hopefully while he's blowing up much bigger than us, he can redo the favor at a later time. So anyway, that is Star Wars Celebration. We're really looking forward to that and getting out to the West Coast a little bit on a non-work related trip. Just different type of work, but this is the fun work. 72 days out from now, on May 15th, Star Wars Weekends is returning to Disney's Hollywood Studios in Orlando, Florida. They have not announced guests yet for Star Wars Celebration, but this is an event that we go to every year, and I think when we started the channel last year, we probably crushed people with the amount of videos that we did, because I'm fairly certain that we went to every day except for maybe 1 or 2 days. And it does get a little tiring, so you know, I know there's a lot of folks that are experts on Star Wars Weekends, but if you guys have any questions about the event, feel free to ask. We've been here way more than enough times to tell you everything that we know from experience, although things could change this year. I would expect Star Wars Weekends to be pretty big this year because of the movie coming out, and we're heading into season 2 of Rebels as well. The Disney blog posted today information around their galactic gathering for Star Wars Weekends, which last year I think they had an event called Rebel Rendezvous, which was basically the same thing. But one thing about Star Wars Weekends, aside from the celebrities coming in and doing talk shows and interview sessions with folks and autographs and their parade and all of that good stuff, the big thing about Star Wars Weekends is they sell a lot of merchandise and a lot of event-specific merchandise that you can only get at Star Wars Weekends. And what Disney did last year, just so you don't think I'm fanboying on about Disney all the time, is that they started implementing an upcharge type special program. Like last year, like I said, it was called Rebel Rendezvous. This year it's going to be called Galactic Gathering. And basically for a really kind of an epic price tag, right? So this year it's $250. The day or two before the event starts, they open up their shopping center, which is historically been called Darth's Mall, play on words, where folks are able to buy the event-exclusive items ahead of time before the Star Wars Weekend starts. So what you should know is that what Star Wars Weekends normally has their limited merchandise, and they have, you know, they've gone from having things that say, you know, like number 10 out of 1985. Down to now just like, you know, limited edition of 1985. So you don't necessarily know like what the number is on most of the items that you're buying, which is a real bummer, because I at times suspect that the things are not as limited as what they are saying, because they don't give you the actual number of the item. In any event, the items that are sold at Star Wars Weekends are really big on the secondary market, which folks may or may not know. Would typically be like eBay. So people will go to Star Wars Weekends and buy boatloads of things, even though that they put like limits on a lot of items, of like 2 items per person or 4 items per person. They'll bring a family and qualify, like, you know, if it's a guy shopping, you know, here's for me, this is for my wife, this is for my 4-year-old kid, and this is for my 2-year-old kid. And they'll bring wagons and load them up with things, and they'll scalp them on eBay. So Disney now has implemented these programs, you know, Galactic Gathering for this year, Rebel Rendezvous for last year. They will charge this year for Galactic Gathering $250 to attend this shopping event prior to the Star Wars Weekends kickoff, which gives you the opportunity to buy these exclusive items before the general public. Because the general public, if you want these items and you want to ensure that you're getting these items, typically you end up sleeping out or getting to the park. Let's say the park opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. You're getting to the park at like 4 o'clock in the morning or earlier that first Friday in order to buy the items that you want. And this kind of eliminates that, and it gets you a couple of unique items that you can't get elsewhere. So this year I think they're giving you in the package the choice of either kind of like a red lightsaber looking magic band or a green lightsaber looking magic band that you can only get at this event, and a pin at this event. And then the ability to buy more stuff, of course, for $250. And the reason why Disney continues to keep doing this is because folks will continue to keep supporting it. And we didn't attend the Rebel Rendezvous last year. I could not bring it, you know, of myself to spend. I think last year might have been like $200 or $150, or maybe it was the same $250. But in any event, even if it's $50, it's too much for me to have to pay to be able to spend more money at an event to kind of circumvent, you know, waiting in the general line. it's kind of outrageous to me. And what folks did last year at Rebel Rendezvous, I know from a couple of my really good friends that attend the event with me almost on a daily basis when it's in full swing. Folks went in and bought like $20,000 plus, you know, full of like shopping carts full of items, and immediately listed things on eBay. So that's what the deal is. But so that's kind of the bad side of Star Wars weekends. The good side is I'm looking forward to all of the good Star Wars goodness that happens in Orlando. It's one of the reasons why I love living here, because for 4 or 5 weeks a year, it's every weekend Star Wars all day, every day at the park. So that's really awesome. The last event that we're looking at on the countdown calendar right now is Halloween Horror Nights. So Halloween Horror Nights is 205 days away. It's all the way in September. September 25th is the first day that it's starting this year. So it's starting kind of like a week later than what it normally would start. I think it normally starts around like the 17th or 18th of the month. This year it's starting on the 25th, which is fine. It's the 25th anniversary. It's a huge event this year. People are expecting Jack to be back. And more importantly, if you are a Halloween Horror Nights fan, you should be looking at Twitter on a semi-regular basis to keep up. They've recently reported that they were done with their treatment of their 5th maze already. So there's a lot of work that's already done for this year's Halloween Horror Nights, and I expect more information to continue to keep coming out, or speculation and stuff like that. I think the whole theme park community and horror community is really looking forward to what this event is going to be this year. It's going to be huge, and we're all looking forward to it. So that's September 25th. So just to recap, we got Megacon, Star Wars Celebration, Star Wars Weekends, and Halloween Horror Nights. Those are the big events that we're looking forward to. You know, in another week and change, there's Dapper Day at Walt Disney World at Magic Kingdom. So we'll be there for that too. I can't say that I'm looking forward to that as much as other things, but I did go out tonight, and you know, we've gone from just looking at like work clothes to trying to pick up a couple of items that are specific more for Dapper Day. So that should be a fun video that we'll shoot next Saturday. And we've got other things coming up like Bike Week in Daytona, and the SeaWorld Bands, Brews, and Barbecues. So there's all kinds of good stuff we've got lined up, at least for months at this point. So we'll be able to sleep again maybe in early May. We'll see. So anyway, that's what we're looking forward to. If you want us to look at something, or you're like, hey, you're missing this other event that's going on in Orlando, or why don't you guys should check out this thing, or you have questions about things, feel free to leave a comment below with the questions that you have, or things that you think we should probably check out. Likewise, we have snail mail as well. We've gotten a couple things lately that we haven't talked about on the air, and we'll get to those. One of which, we got a really cool mix CD from folks that had like Star Wars, had like, that's on my brain now. We had like Christmas music and like 80s and 90s type music mixed in with it. So that was really awesome. And, you know, we appreciate everybody watching. So on that note, we're going to sign off for now. So thanks for all the likes and the comments and the subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. And we'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.